welcome to another exciting episode of Andaaz. Today's episode is all about your future. We're standing outside of YouTube here in Silicon Valley, and we're going to go inside and talk to Shalini Pai about how YouTube is changing the face of the future. And then we head to Los Angeles, where visionary Naveen Jain, founder of InfoSpace, Intellius, and Moon Express, talks to us about innovation and how he raises his children to be children of the future. And you can do that as well. And then we talk to Usha Ji. Usha Ji, she's just amazing. She's a psychic who has this uncanny ability to see right into the future with accuracy. Let's get started. Hi, I'm here with Naveen Jain, a true legend in Silicon Valley, founder of Intellius, InfoSpace, and Moon Express. What a man that has achieved so much, and I'm honored to talk to him today. Hi, Naveen.
Sarika, it's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So let's just start right off. How did you get so interested in space? That's my biggest question to you today.
Well, to us, it was not about a space. It is about changing the world. And you look at what are the biggest problem in our country. If you look at the biggest problem that are on our planet, it is about shortage of energy. It is about lack of education. It is about lack of access to healthcare. And you say, which one of these problems can we solve? And can we attack all of these problems using a different way of doing things than we have done in the past? Because we can't keep doing the same things again and again and expect a different result. And that means we have to think very differently. Right. And if you have to think about non-infrastructure, we have to think about how we can use innovation and entrepreneurship to solve some of the biggest grand challenges that the humanity faces.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so tell me about Moon Express,
Sure.
what you guys are doing.
So our thought was, if we need energy on this planet, and what if we are able to bring helium-3, which is plenty accessible on Moon, bring it down to create a fusion energy. And the beauty of that is the byproduct of it is non-radioactive. That means you don't have to worry about a nuclear power that can someday damage the humanity. We can create a nuclear power using fusion sources without having to worry about the radioactivity. There's plenty of platinum that can be used for the alternate energy for the batteries, because it's the best catalyst that we know of. Similarly, if you start to think about how do we change education, the way we're going to change education is completely reinventing education, looking at how does brain works, how does neuroscience, what we have learned in the last 20 years. We know the brain learns in a different way than we teach. Brain is a multi-sensory device. Today, our education system, if you look at the system today, has not changed in the last 200 years. We're still teaching the children in the same way that we taught 200 years ago.
Right, we are. You're developing some video games, right? That will teach math, science, history. Tell me a little bit more about that,
so it's just
using
this
method.
It's more than the video game. The thinking really is, if you think about a child, how can a child solve some of the most complex problems in a video game, but struggles at school? That means it is not about the child who is dumb or the teacher who is dumb. It is the way of teaching that is not compatible with how brain learns. What makes a video game so addictive? What if we are able to make the math and science as effective as a private tutor and as addictive as a video game? We would change the face of education. What if we are able to bring the multi-sensory, multi-dimensional games which are as proactive, as social as the best games, whether it's Zynga or the World of Warcraft? What if the lessons that you're learning becomes part of life? And as opposed to the fundamental problem you're facing is, if you look at the industrial era, it was all about learning a skill. And once you learn the skill, you could work all your life using that skill. Today, any skill that you learn is becoming obsolete in the next 5 to 10 years. That means you have to learn, not learn the skill. That means you have to not only
learn to learn. Well, so what can parents do to foster this within their children at home?
Okay, first of all, don't think schools have responsibility to teach.
Yeah, it's parents.
It's parents who have responsibility to teach. It is the children who have responsibility to learn. We came from very humble background in India. We didn't have food to eat. The schools we went to didn't have the tables and the chairs. We sat on the floor and wrote on the floor and learned. Despite all of that, we were able to come get great education because our parents cared about education. In a family that cares about education gets a great education. And that's a system that in US we still have yet to learn, because somehow the parents in America feel so entitled that think it's a school's responsibility and a teacher's responsibility.
I think they're so busy and they're caught up in the rat race of life as well. They need to take out the time. Right?
Well, as a matter of fact, there is no work bigger than taking care of your children.
Yeah.
And if it is, success is not about the amount of money you have in the bank. Success is not about what you have done. Success is about what you can pass to your children. How can they become the productive citizen of the society? How can they learn to give back? Success is about the people's life. How many lives can you improve in the world? That's what the success is about. Success is not about how much money can you create.
Yep, absolutely. It's about giving back.
Yes.
So, because you are so successful, yet you keep going. You keep going. I mean, what keeps you going?
What keeps me going is there is so much to learn and there is so much to give. At the end of the day, the first 30, 40 years of your life, you are in fact a sponge on the society. You are taking away, you are a parasite on society. You're taking so much from the society to get what you have. And the next 60, 70 years of your life, you need to be focused on giving back, so when you die, you don't have a debt on your head. You want to give back as much as you have received, if not 10 times more than you have received. And if we can all move forward and give back, every generation gives back, we're going to have every generation that's better than the previous generation.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's so inspirational as well. Just to keep giving back, and then you receive more as well. I mean, the universe is abundant.
Yes. And I think that in some sense, the whole idea of sustainability is wrongly focused. People in the sustainability movement, which is everywhere at all the young generation, thinks about sustainability. And when they say sustainability, what they really mean is conservation. You can't change people's habit. Sustainability can only come from creation. That means you have to create more of what you need, not use less of what you have.
Yeah.
Sure, you need to use less, but what if we can create more? What if we had plenty of energy?
Borrowing from other planets, like you were saying earlier.
What if we can create plenty of energy? And if we have more energy, we can solve the clean water problem. We can go out and change the salt water into a clean water. What if we can use the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and the salt water to create the fossil fuel? What if we can change the healthcare where a village girl, as opposed to getting married early and getting abused, she can become a village doctor by the help of a $30 tablet device, and with the help of sensor and the software, she can diagnose 90% of all common diseases. We will change not only the communities, we will change the world, because we will have access, every single person will have access to a doctor.
Wow. You're so full of passion. I just love it. I mean, what are the main changes you see in technology coming up in the next 20 years?
Well, every single thing that we do today is going to be impacted by technology. Whether it is manufacturing used to be, unless you are able to build 100,000, a million items, it was very difficult to build a single item. It used to cost a lot. Today with the 3D printing, you are able to use that, build a product in any a material, whether it is a plastic, whether it is a metal or gold or a silver. That means a single person can go design a jewelry and create a custom jewelry at the point of sale. Imagine what would that change. Imagine if every person can become creative enough and create a product without having to have a manufacturing.
Wow.
Every single industry will change if you look at where the technology is going. There is not going to be a single industry that is not going to be obsoleted or impacted by the exponential growth of technology.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. So technology is just moving at a light speed. That's kind of the...
Actually, it's moving at life speed.
Yeah, at life speed. Okay, that's a good one. So you have 2 children that are doing amazing things. So you've done a great job as a parent to pass on your passion and your inspiration to your children. How did you do this, and what can other parents do at home?
Well, it's ultimately, as long as your job is to let them know what makes you proud of them. You let them know that what you expect of them is to not, their success is not what they have. Their success is going to come from what they create. Their success is not going to be the amount of money they'll be able to generate in their lifetime. Their success will be how many lives will they be able to improve. Once you do that from the early stage, the children start to think about giving back. And it is very selfish, because the more they think about other people, the less they think about themselves. That means you are going to have children who are always thinking about what can they do. So our oldest started something called Kairos Society,
Yeah.
which was how do we take all of these college entrepreneurs who come from middle class families, how do you give them the mentorship that they lack and help them scale their businesses? Our daughter, who at 18 years old, she started something called I Care, We Care.
I know.
An idea was, how do we create a social network for social good? She became the teen advisor for United Nations Foundation. Now
Wow.
imagine, she gave up her 18th birthday, the most precious birthday, to raise money for the girls around the world. That is the kind of commitment that you need. Our youngest son, who is 15 years old, is starting something called Innovation Generation, which is to make the geek the chic. Make sure that every person create the role models out of innovator, the scientists, the entrepreneurs, not the celebrity and the singers and the
I love
athletes.
it. I love that.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Well, you did a fabulous job with your children. So if you had to give our viewers one piece of words of wisdom, what would it be?
Focus on your children, because there's nothing in life that's more important than your children.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, thank you so much, Naveen.
Thank you, Sarika.
It's
It's a
been
pleasure
so
being
great
with you.
talking with you.
Thank you.
Andaaz, brought to you in part by
Andaaz Media Partners. Build brand awareness with Nirja. Desi Hits, your online source for entertainment news. TyCon 2012. Connect, innovate, prosper. Samaro Frozen Foods. Lip-smacking delights for every occasion. Symantec.
India West,